Does the crew know that we're responsible for that whole filling the entire ship with smoke thing?
Apparently not. The leprechauns tell me that Tuvok hasn't got a clue how it happened.
I mean, with the greatest respect to him, I'm not sure those leprechauns are a 100% trustworthy source of data, all things considered.
True, but I've not heard it from anyone else either, so I think we're fine.
Thank fuck for that. I don't want another spelling brig if I can avoid it. That were bad enough when I was still in computer corps and I didn't need to eat or shit then. So, what's the new plan for killing Paris?
Are we still doing that?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's a laugh, innit? And we gotta do something in these end credit sketches. Woof.
We could always shoot him.
Oh, sure. I'll just go ask a member of the crew if we can borrow their opposable thumbs.
Fair point. Well, we could strangle. Oh. That needs thumbs. How about stabbing? Oh. That needs thumbs too. Holy shit, not having thumbs makes this really difficult.
That's why I've not done it before now. I tried to frame him for murder once, but that dickhead Tuvok got him off.
Have you thought about just biting his throat out?
You do know there are only 2 dogs on the ship, right? I mean, it's not a massive pool of suspects, is it?
Maybe they haven't noticed we're dogs.
Yeah, 'cause we've been real subtle about that, haven't we? Woof.
Oh yeah. Balls. We could sabotage a shuttle to make him crash.
Are you serious? Do you have any idea how many shuttle crashes that man has survived?
Rig his console on the bridge to explode.
They do that on their own, and they only kill people without names, unless there's some time fuckery going on anyway.
Well, what else is there?
He likes pizza. How about changing the recipe to poison him?
The demons in the replicators won't go for that. They have an arrangement with Janeway. They get all the corpses, but they're not allowed to deliberately make new ones.
There's gotta be something. The holodeck. Woof. Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is turn off the holodeck safeties. What does that?
Historically. Literally anything. Power surge. Glitch. Sherlock Holmes novel. Cardassian spy. The mortality failsafe will turn off for whatever amuses the god running the holodeck.
You what?
The god in charge of the holodeck safeties. They are controlled by the Roman god Mercury. Or the Greek god Hermes. Or the Egyptian god Thoth. Basically the god of dickheads. If he thinks it'll be funny, he'll turn them off.
Hold on. There's a god in charge of the holodeck safeties.
Of course there is. You don't think that keeps breaking down by accident, do you?
So, if we can make it funny, we can kill Paris?
Yes.
Well, that's us fucked then, based on the quality of the writing in these sketches. Woof. Right, so we can kill Paris on the holodeck if we can make it funny enough for the god who controls the mortality failsafes.
That's right.
So, what holodeck programs does he use?
Well, there was that car he was working on, but he's not doing that anymore.
Wouldn't have been funny enough anyway, just squashing him won't do it. What else?
Those Captain Proton things?
That won't work, he usually does those with that other guy, Henry something, I think he's new. What else?
What about that pub of his? The one where he parades his abandonment issues and thinks it makes him look masculine.
He don't use that one anymore. Shame really, Death by Schnoo Schnoo would probably have been funny enough. Woof.
What does that leave us with then?
I don't know. I can't think of anything else he uses on holodeck. Not on his own anyway.
Bugger. Can we trick him into one?
I mean, not without involving other people, no.
Well, I could ask the leprechauns in the vents to try.
No, not after last time. They're a bloody menace.
It was a genuine accident. They want to help, and I think they are the best choice for stuff like this. Seriously. I'll go and have a word.
Are you sure about this?
Absolutely.
12 seconds later.
In my defense, this is just as much your fault for trusting the opinion of a computer, in a cartoon dog without a face. Woof.
We could pretend there's a surprise party on the holodeck.
What's funny about that?
Well, the idea that anybody would choose to invite Paris to a party.
Maybe. And what happens when he gets there?
The surprise.
Which is?
He gets shot in the face.
Worth a try. If nothing else, it'll give us an idea of what the holodeck god thinks is funny.
Right, so all we need to do is get an invite to him without anybody seeing. Any ideas?
Well, we could ask the leprechauns.
Are you fucking serious?
Hear me out. What are the chances of it happening 3 times in a row?
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
You know, I think I'm beginning to detect a theme. Woof.
Look, can we just agree now that we're not going to use them again?
Them?
You know, the ones who keep doing the smoke thing.
You mean the
Don't say it.
Don't say what?
Leprechauns. Oh. Yeah, I suppose that one's on me. Woof. Right, that's it. I'm calling an halt to the holodeck idea. It's too complicated, and those dickheads in the vents keep buggering things up. We need something simpler to kill Paris.
Airlock?
When does he go near airlocks? Wait a minute, have we even got airlocks?
Yes, but it's cheaper to film people using the teleporter. That way we don't have to build a new set.
Hold on. So we'd have to build a whole new set to kill him in an airlock?
Yes.
And you don't think that'll arouse any suspicion from the crew?
I doubt it. We didn't even have a real shuttle bay until season 6. Woof.
Alright, forget the airlock idea. We don't want to fuck about with having to build one before we can kill Paris, innit? What options do we have right now?
Engineering?
There's no way B'Elanna would let him in there without keeping an eye on him. She knows him too well.
How about the Jeffries tubes?
And risk involving the leopard. Nope, I didn't say it. Jeffries tubes are out. It's not worth the risk.
Okay, what about sick bay? That's got scalpels and other things in.
Yeah, but one of those things is an hologram with the singular job of making people not die.
Fair point. Woof.
So, what about this Fairhaven place? I know I said I was against using the holodeck, but Paris already got into one bar fight there and took a couple of knocks. The guard in charge of the safeties must have thought that were funny.
Are you really sure that's a good idea?
I don't see why not. It almost did for him without our interference. Another push could see him off.
And you don't think our old friends will get involved if we use that particular program to kill him?
What old friends?
The ones in the vents.
You mean the leprechauns? Oh, bollocks. You know, now that you mention it, maybe we'll avoid anything with an Irish theme to kill him. Woof.
That's a shame.
What's a shame?
That we didn't manage to teleport Paris down to the last planet. The one where time runs fast. He'd have been dead before they figured out how to get him back.
That's bloody harsh, that is.
What do you mean?
I mean it'd be harsh on the planet. Can you imagine him being their god? Tom fucking Paris being in a position to influence an entire culture. Every third building would be a pub. Government-mandated wet T-shirt Tuesday. Within 6 months he'd have ground all scientific progress to an halt. We might as well just drop a nuke on the poor bastards. It'd cause less damage.
Fair point.
Besides, he'd have enjoyed it. We want him to suffer. Woof. You know, I've been thinking. Do we even need to do this?
Do what?
Try and kill Tom Paris.
I thought you wanted to.
Yeah, but that's when I thought it'd be easy. This is too much like work. Besides, look at how they run this ship. Anytime they find something dangerous, they just stick their faces in it. Realistically, how long are any of them gonna last?
You do realize that means we'll have to come up with another shtick for these credit sequences, right? They used to be for advertising the Patreon, before they got out of hand, like everything else on this clusterfuck of a channel. Do you really want to go back to that? A shill for the chicken mac dipshit who runs all of this?
Fair point, son. I'll have another think about killing Paris. Woof. I still haven't thought of a new way to kill Paris.
Well, we need to come up with something, or we'll have to do Patreon things.
Weird you should say that. You know how we mentioned it last week?
Yeah?
Well, some people have signed up.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's up there, look. Arere, Oiluge, and Warab Leg In.
That's not right. You're reading it backwards, because we're on the other side of the screen.
The what?
The screen that we're. Look, it doesn't matter. What matters is we have to stop anyone else signing up.
So, how do we do that?
Make the guy who runs this sound like a dick.
Well, I don't think he needs help with that. Have you watched any of these videos?
No, I mean cruel, not sarcastic.
Oh, right. If you sign up, you're supporting a bad man. He punches kittens with a gun. Yeah, that'll do. Woof. Have you seen this bollocks?
The video?
No, that's normal. I mean the stuff in the corner up there.
Holy shit. There are more of them.
I know, right? I said he punches kittens and they give him cash. I mean, okay, I was a bit ambiguous over whether it was him or the kittens who had a gun, but that's no excuse. What's a kitten gonna do with a gun?
Well, there was that one time a kitten shot Kim.
Yeah, but that were funny.
True.
So how do we stop him? I mean, I had a whole skit done for the end of this video. Stuff about killing Paris. That isn't a joke, by the way. I genuinely already had one written and recorded. Now I've had to do this instead. All just because, say, Hook has got a loose wallet.
I've told you that's not how you read their names.
I know, but it's a running gag now, so I've got to do it. Point is, how do we stop more?
Reverse psychology, I guess. If they reward cruelty, just say he's nice.
Worth a go. He uses the money to give cake to hungry fish? Woof?
So are we back to killing Paris yet?
Oh, we fuck. Look at this shower of bastards.
There are more of them.
I'm at my wit's end. No matter what I say, people still join. Like these buggers here. Nui, Ailzuk Rolyat, and Eoxadro.
The reverse reading is a permanent thing now, is it?
Certainly sounds like it, but I'm putting a stop to it. No more. Seriously though, this is the last one. It's turning into a recruitment drive and the boss says it's making him feel a bit weird.
Sounds like a reason to continue, if it's bothering him.
I mean, normally I'd agree with you, but on this occasion it does raise one or two existential questions that we probably don't have time to go into right here. Suffice to say, we're not doing another one next week, alright? We're done. Back to talking about how we kill Paris next time. Woof. Right then, killing Paris. No holodeck, no airlock, no shuttles. Engineering won't work cause of Balana, and the bridge don't kill important people.
That doesn't leave much.
Hold on, what if we're going about this the wrong way?
What do you mean?
Well, we're trying to organise a thing to happen to him. What if we got him to do something that'll make others want to kill him? Treason or some shite.
Won't work. The Federation doesn't have the death penalty.
Oh, do they not? I'll just go tell that to Tuvix.
Fair point. So who'd kill him?
Balana, if pushed far enough. Same for Tuvok. And we already know Janeway's willing to fuck up anyone who looks at her wrong. Maybe Neelix too, he'd have probably done it for Kez.
I reckon Janeway's probably the easiest. What if we deleted the replicator pattern for coffee, and say Paris did it?
Jesus Christ, no. Janeway with no coffee? Half the crow'd be dead within 3 months. Woof.
Okay, we won't mess with Janeway's coffee.
I think that's best for the whole crew, and more importantly us. I guess that means we've got to strike a balance between goading her and not sending her so far over the edge that she self-destructs the ship. Any ideas?
We could change his name in the crew database.
Change his name? Do you really think she'll kill him just for hacking a database?
No, I think she'll kill him if we call him Tuvix. Woof.
I don't think just changing his name will do it, but you might be onto something there. Just like Tuvix, I reckon she'll kill him to save people she actually likes.
So you're saying we need to create a situation where she has to choose between him and basically anybody else on the ship?
Pretty much.
And how are we doing that?
I don't know, but organ harvesting? Injure someone that he'd be a compatible donor for.
She said before that she won't take a life to save another.
Yeah, and she told that other captain that she's never broken the Prime Directive either. Janeway's approach to truth is like Neelix's approach to preparing food. He tells people that's what he's doing and he might even believe it, but that don't make him right. Woof.
How many people do you think we should injure to make Paris look like a prospective donor to Janeway?
I don't know. She done a murder for 2 people before, but part of that was just getting rid of Tuvix. Let's be safe and say something like 5, yeah?
And you really think she'll go for harvesting Paris's organs?
Are you serious? She'll use the scalpel herself. I bet she'll even claim he volunteered and write it up as a noble sacrifice or some shite.
Wow, that's a bit fucked up.
Yeah, but look at it this way. He's spent years trying to put his genetic material in as many people as possible. We're just making his wish come true. Woof.
So we've gone from killing 1 person to wounding 5? I'm not sure that's progress.
Depends which way you look at it, I guess. Is injuring multiple people more morally acceptable than killing 1? And what about the ripple effects caused by those injuries? The fear experienced by loved ones, the trauma of those who recover, forced to process the knowledge that they too are mortal and may at any moment have their existence extinguished by pure random chance. What right have we to wear the cost in human suffering?
Actually, I just meant it was going to be more work for us.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a fair point too. Woof. Right then, how do we injure multiple crew members so that Janeway will break Paris down for spare parts?
We're still doing that?
Yeah, why not? Feels like we're committed now, so let's have a go.
Okay then. What about food poisoning?
6 years with Neelix, mate. The crew have all built up an immunity.
How about something to do with the warp core?
Nah, those things either blow over or explode the entire ship. We need something serious enough to cause damage, but not so serious that people get instantly deaded.
Holy shit, I think I've got it. Smoke inhalation.
Smoke inhalation? How are we going to fill the ship with... Oh, leprechaun. Woof. How long do you think we should leave it on for?
Some of the crew will be affected earlier than others, as it can be influenced by a few things. Crew from volcanic planets, for example, or those with widespread heavy industry, may have a higher natural tolerance of particulate matter in the air.
So it's largely down to general levels of resilience?
Yes, but it can also depend on lung capacity. Species with smaller lungs might expect to see damage more quickly.
Like, oh, I don't know, a dog, for example.
Yes, like a dog. Oh. I don't want to worry you, but I think I might have detected a flaw in the plan. Woof.
Are we even going to be able to do this?
Kill Paris? Honestly, I don't know. Based on our efforts so far, I'm going with no.
Fuck's sake. I didn't even really want to do it in first place. It was just something to keep busy.
But now it's become a personal challenge.
Basically, yeah. We're doing it to ourselves. How do you get out of that?
Simple. Move the goalposts. Make a vague effort at something similar, and claim it as a victory, regardless of how it works out. Politicians have been doing it for centuries.
So what? We just hurt Paris. That's got all the same problems, but without the reward of him being dead.
Okay, so we just kill someone else. Someone that doesn't have plot armor.
Hold up a minute. Didn't I hear we're going to have a visit from an admiral or some shite next week?
An admiral? Perfect. No supernatural protection, and we can genuinely claim he's a more important target. Then we can forget about this whole fucking thing and move on with our lives. Woof. You know how we're killing an admiral, because we can't figure out a way to fuck up Paris.
Yeah?
Guess who's been put in charge of taking care of the admiral?
Are you shitting me?
Nope. If the admiral buys it, Paris gets the blame.
Oh my god, this is perfect. We just have to keep him occupied. No danger, no risk of injury.
We can tell him Bellana's waiting in their quarters to do a sex or something, and get Neelix to start one of his awful stories to keep the admiral in here, while the rest of the group leaves.
Then we just have to murderize him. We'll have to improvise that bit. If there's a tour on, Tuvok will be too busy to watch the security stuff. We can off him before they even know it's happening. This is gonna be brilliant. Woof. Quick, he's coming. Get ready.
Hello? Excuse me. I think I've got a bit separated from the tour.
No worries, mate. We'll sort you out.
On behalf of the non-bipedal life forms on the ship, welcome to Voyager.
Oh, you must be the dogs. Everybody speaks very highly of you. Except for that guy whose face you melted, obviously.
Yeah, well, accidents happen. All the time, in fact. Who knows when the next cruel cut of death's merciless scythe may fall.
Dial it back. You're going to blow it.
Okay. Quick thing. These tours always show the shiny bits, but nobody ever points out the nearest head. Would you mind?
Ed? Oh, the shitter. Yeah. Yeah, I can totally do that. It's just over here. Yeah, that's it, mate. Through there. I'll just close this door to give you some privacy. It's the button on the wall there to make the bog pop out. Have a good one.
This button? Have they redesigned the restrooms? It kind of looks like an airlock.